Hey guys, we're back after a little hiatus.
Right, you need good Thanksgiving food, man.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, some sickness going on.
That was bad.
But we're getting,
We were all sick.
getting back into the groove though, and we're back with Squid Game: The Challenge, episodes 1 through 5.
I tell you what, man, it's probably one of the better reality shows we've seen in a while.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, pause this, go watch the show, and then tune back in because you don't want us to spoil it.
It's
on watching.
I mean, I'd say it's almost better than the original Squid Game.
It might be.
I mean, I tell you what though, they did a freaking fantastic job. I don't know if they use the same set or what, but the way they freaking made this place look, it looks exactly like it does in the show.
They recreated it very well.
Oh yeah, they did. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, it's kind of cool because, I mean, I really enjoyed the show, but I get it's not for everyone because it's dubbed and like some of the story elements are kind of out there, but this kind of cuts through all that. Yeah. And it's just as good challenging wise. Now, obviously on the show, people are dying. People aren't dying on this, but...
Unfortunately, we don't get that on this one, you know, but...
I was interested in how they go out. They have dye packs in their shirts.
That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah, squibs or whatever.
Because I was like, are they shooting them with paintball guns? I was like, but then it all seems like the way the ink kind of like blends, it's like... Something's different.
And some of you actually see it like shoot up their shirt
and
their face.
And some people do a better job at dying than others.
Yeah, that's funny too.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a cool thing because people are kind of like expecting it, and then they get all scared when it goes off. So,
and then there are some people surprised by it, like in the red light, green light one.
Yeah, you could tell some people like in red light, green light did not think they were going to go out there. They're like, what the hell, man? I know I stopped.
And it follows the show pretty closely with some unique twists. But I do love how they're trying to recreate the show. They got the little like PlayStation like people with the little shapes on their faces and the pink jumpsuits. They got the crazy stairs. I think that's all just for theatrics. You can't tell me these stairs actually go somewhere. But
I think that there's a door and another leading to the other door, and it's probably like maybe 20, 30 feet in this really tall room, and they're just marching around up and down these stairs.
Because it doesn't make any sense. All these people are going from the same places, but they're all going like
different directions.
It's like Hogwarts in there or whatever.
They could just go from point A to point B in like 2 seconds, I'm pretty sure.
And then they got the people like behind the scenes like playing the Pac-Man video game. That's like zooming in.
It looked like the old school Street Fighter freaking joystick with a couple buttons on there.
So I don't think they're actually doing anything. It's just for theatrics, but it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I imagine being on the show, you probably have like a very different experience than what we're seeing for the most part. And there's some rumors about some things on the show, and maybe even a lawsuit. But the first challenge,
I mean, you get that with any reality show.
Exactly. Now there's 456 people on the show. That's a lot.
Yeah.
$10,000 per person.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money.
4.56 million prize.
They say it's the most.
Wow.
You know, it's the most amount of people or contestants in a reality show. They don't mention it being the most amount of money, but I feel like
I don't feel like they needed to give that much away. And like the set's really nice, paying people to get here. That's a lot.
And they could have
of money.
did like most shows and did $1 million prize pool, and everybody did still been great. You know, 4.56 million.
They went a little overboard, if you ask me.
Awesome.
But, and then you got to fly people probably to get here because I think where's it filmed? Like Australia or
it's filmed in the UK, in like London, I think. But they took contestants from all over the world.
You had
to speak English.
So they do red light, green light. And it's just like the show for the most part. They got the little doll that turns around and, does a little singing.
Singing
that Korean song. Yeah.
Yep. And then, if you're moving, by the time it stops singing, you're done.
Yeah, you're toast.
And what was weird, they got 10 minutes, supposedly, even though like some people said this took like 7 hours or something like that.
Yeah, some people were saying they're frozen in position for like half hour plus, right? Something
Which
like
when we watched, there was one girl who like, she stopped and she's like in a squat. Yeah. And then she says immediately, she's like, why did I squat?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, why the hell did you stop in that position?
And then like you see the clock go like 20 seconds or something, and then you see her, she's like, I give up. I can't do it. And I was like, you couldn't hold the squat.
Right, yeah,
like, there's only 2.5 minutes left on there. You couldn't hold the squat for $4.5 million for 2.5 minutes, or even just it's going to stop or start again within 2.5 minutes. But then you realize, I guess, I'm assuming it's so that they can sort through the cameras and who's who's moving, who was moving and who to eliminate. So they actually had him frozen in position for a lot longer than the 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, because sometimes when they stop, people would be hitting the ground. I'm like, why the hell would you like lay down? But maybe if you're like staying still for 30 minutes, maybe they're like, I'm going to lay my ass down.
It makes sense at that point.
I don't know, and I mean. some people just take off running. I don't think I would take off running this because like that's
it's
hard
harder
to
to
stop
stop.
from cold, you know.
Especially
So
on dirt.
yeah, so I wouldn't. That wouldn't be my strategy. I'd probably take my time, power walk it or something like
Yeah,
that.
if you're just like just stick in the middle of the pack, you know, just run, you know, like you said, power walk, just light run, and yeah, you should be good, man. But yeah, you booking it, man. That's not a good strategy.
Yeah, and what else is kind of cool is like some people are like buddied up. Like they got some like guy with his best friend in there. They got one mom and her son in there, and they're all mic'd up and stuff like that. So they're kind of following them.
Well, and it's cool how every now and then they cut and they kind of they talk to different people from the show and have little cut scenes talking to them, kind of hearing some of their backgrounds, and some of those people are just strange, man. Like, that one dude just a strange dude, Spencer or whatever, man. I was like, holy cow, strange dude.
But the red light, green light eliminates like half the people right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
Just
people
like
are just
like in the show.
dropping.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. And then after that, they get to the dormitories, and they got like bunks 5 high in there, and
Yeah,
like
the
people are
dormitory
like,
is kind of cool.
you get some snores and stuff in there.
Oh yeah, they're complaining about that.
There's no clocks, so you don't know how long you're in there for.
What was it? Is it 242? Was that
432.
432?
Yeah.
The fit guy.
Thinks
What's
he's
his
all
name?
hot shit.
What's his
Thinks
name?
he's all hot shit, and he's complaining about everything. And he complains about the snores. Oh, both you guys are snoring all
So
night.
they turn the lights off, and he's like, I guess I'll just do push-ups.
Yeah,
So he's like, I can't go to sleep. I'll just do push-ups all night long. Come on now.
He's supposedly a football player for Clemson, I think. So
Yeah, he said he went to Clemson, and then he said he dropped out to come here. He's like, oh, it was in my
He
last
said I had
semester.
one semester. I'm like,
dropped
okay,
out
so
to
you
come
took a
here.
semester off. Are you going
Right,
to tell me
he
you're not
dropped-
going back
Right,
for that
right.
semester?
I hope you're finished.
Right, you better go finish. Yeah.
You're either lying about where you are, or you're You're being over dramatic about dropping out. Just take the semester off and go back.
Yeah, exactly.
And the son finishes, and he's like waiting for his mom to come. And you don't know if she's going to make it.
Yeah, she's
but,
in
like,
the last group.
she
And it makes it
eventually
look like
makes
she
through.
shouldn't have made it. I mean, when it shows the time, like 15 seconds on, then it's still ticking down. It's like, there ain't no hell is woman
I
gonna
read
make
some articles somewhere that said that she didn't make it, but
Right.
they like pushed it through.
Right, because
I
it's
don't
good
know.
for the
I
shows.
would hope that.
Yeah,
they
there's some
wouldn't do
people
that.
saying like it's rigged, but like quite honestly, I get there's probably a lot of hiccups with red light, green light. They probably have to like take time out to like identify who was moving. So I could get where that might not go off without a hitch. But the rest of the games, I don't feel like that's probably the case.
Yeah,
at
if there was
all.
anyone that they could have did that with, it'd been red light, green light. Like you said, the rest of them you're watching, and there's no way to do that with the rest of them because the rest of them are straight up specific things you have to do to complete. And I don't think they could do it the rest of them.
Yeah.
So 456, it goes down to 197 after red light,
Yeah.
green
Yeah,
light.
man.
That's 259 people done.
Yeah, and then just like in the show, they're back in the dorm, and then it shows the ball come down, man, and all that.
Yeah, it is a really cool presentation.
The ball, it's a pig.
Yeah, it is.
It's a pig ball, a lot of money.
Right. Oh yeah.
And I like how they have the numbers on the screen, and when they're showing like how many people, it's like rotating and stuff like that. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it well.
The production is
Well,
really good.
And then what they did was cool too, because in the show they're allowed to kill each other in the dorms, right? So they're so you got to drop numbers in the dorms because people were killing each other. Well, obviously there's nobody killing each other in this, so they made up like different games and stuff in the dorms to kind of help eliminate people, while they're in the dorms. So
And
it's
that
kinda cool.
adds an interesting dynamic to it.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think about this sleeping situation? These 5 high bunk beds.
Well,
and
considering
stuff?
they're not using anywhere near as many, there's plenty of room to spread out in there, man.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room to spread out in that place. So I thought that was cool with that.
But you're all in like one warehouse like place.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like
I
boot
wouldn't
camp
be
or
worried
something.
about
But
the snores. I'd be worrying about the farters.
farters.
Yeah, there's people farting in their sleep.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, probably so. That's what I just don't. I like.
I'm a light sleeper, so
Same here. Like, yeah.
and
I
you're
can sleep
probably
during
amped
it,
up
but-
about these games, so you're probably not getting great sleep.
Well, now, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, in reality, like, how well are these people sleeping anyway?
Right.
It's a lot. It's a stressful situation. You're not going to sleep well.
So some of these people got to do chores. They clean the bathroom, and 2 people are peeling carrots. Like I guess they're slicing carrots. I mean, you're not really peeling the
They're
carrot too much, right?
They're peeling.
They're peeling.
All right,
They're
but-
peeling carrots.
And they're talking and stuff, right? Just chatting, getting to know each other,
And then they're presented with, hey, you can either give someone an advantage or eliminate someone. And they don't really hesitate. And they're like, we got to get rid of someone.
Well,
Yeah.
but they made a good argument. They're like, look, if we give someone an advantage, they might be with us in the short game, but when push come to shove, if it came down to us and then they would eliminate us in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I based on that, kind of thinking that way, I was like, yeah, they're right. They're better off just eliminating somebody and getting somebody else out of the way, right? So,
And this is anonymous. And the next day, I think it is, they like say, hey, these people chose to eliminate someone. And then the thing's scrolling and it's like number 200.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the time, that guy was a super nice dude. He just kind of, his whole game plan was, I just want to get to know everybody.
He was real
so
friendly.
He just walking around, very friendly dude, just talking to people and stuff. And they had number 432, who was the freaking dude with the big ego and shit that we were talking about earlier, who just really gets on your nerves.
They were debating.
And he's doing the push-ups, so that's for everyone to see. Like, this dude's really amped up, and he seems like a strong guy, and he's like grouping up with other people like that are athletic and strong too.
And he's trying to show that he's more athletic than them. He's like, exactly. I can do more push-ups than you.
And then they mentioned somebody else. I don't remember the third person they mentioned. So so when the time comes to reveal, you're like, oh, they're totally getting rid of 432. And they're like, oh, 200. And it's like, what?
Well, I think the guy said 432, but the chick said 200. So I guess he just deferred and said, we'll go with you. Yeah. And I don't know why she chose the 200 guy. So they get rid of that guy. And that really sucks because, like, he's just done right then and there. Doesn't really get to say anything. They just like, you're eliminated. Get out of here.
She immediately, though, felt the regret from that. She immediately felt like this is going to come back and bite me.
It's kind of funny because when they announced it, like, that one guy was like trying to play it off and like, whoa, dang.
And people were like, did he make the decision?
Yeah, she was really like good at the acting. Like, you wouldn't have guessed that she's better. He's like, oh my God, what?
He was being a lot
and people are even talking to the girl he's with and was like, hey, that guy didn't seem natural. Like, he totally changed like during
he
that.
didn't act that like out there before, but this he's like, whoa.
Right, exactly.
And she's like, hey, every person gone's more money in the pot.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, she's trying to make sure they don't remember, well, you were slicing carrots with that. I'm like...
But then they start handing out food, and they get these little tins, and everyone's in line getting the food, and they're like, what is it? And someone opens it up and shows it off, and it looks like, it looked like some kind of egg or something.
It was just like in the show.
Rice.
It was rice and egg, just like in the show. Yeah.
And like one guy's like super hungry, so he goes and like puts his stuff in his bed and then gets in line again.
Yeah. This clown freaking hides his shit under his pillow, goes and gets another tin, and of course people are seeing him like, is that clown getting extra food?
What I was very disappointed in is that they didn't show how that played out. Like, does that mean
somebody miss theirs?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen somebody be like, well, where's my food?
Yeah, I would like the last person to be like, hey, I don't know what happened. We made just the amount we needed, and someone must have stole one.
And that could have been a whole thing, and like, I don't know why
and
that wasn't a
then someone
thing.
could have been like, what the hell? And someone could be like, he stole your food.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then this sucker, right? So they're watching him do this shit, where they're like, he just ate a second one, and then he's going to asking other people for their food, eating all their leftovers.
Yeah, she's like, I don't really like this. Well, if you're not going to eat it all,
I'll take it.
She's like, okay.
And then this other dude's like, here, take mine too. He's like, hell yeah. And this dude's just like eating everybody's crap, man. I was like, what an ass.
He didn't care about what anyone thinks of him.
No. He didn't seem to get much blowback from it. So
he didn't.
And it might be because other people gave up their food, so it's like, well, I guess he's going to get it one way or another. So.
Yeah, but there's a whole tin that I need to know, like,
what happened? Who went hungry?
You just had extra tins? Like, nah, I don't know.
And then Rick turned 69 while in
the
here.
oldest person. They got to have one like that.
Now, is he older than the mom from the mom and son combo?
It never says.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
She does look like she's probably right.
She looked like she could give him a run for his money.
She don't want you to know how.
Yeah, I guess not.
But of course, they had the old guy in the show, so you got to have that one old guy in this too, right? So.
And he's pretty cool. He was like he did like a weird face though when the mom crossed the finish line. He was like in the background. He looked kind of goofy.
Well, because he was probably like, hey, matching up to the clock.
Maybe. Jeez.
That's exactly what it was. He was like, what
they got a senior discount for time here. What the hell's going on?
Right.
He's like, man, I went through the regular stuff.
Yeah, but he's really cool, and it's kind of unfortunate what happens to him.
And the thing about Rick, man, you could tell he is like a huge like freaking nerd of the show because he like knew a lot of like the Korean verbiage from it, like the Friends term and all that. He knew how to play the slap game. This dude like knew everything about this show, man. I'm
kind of amazed, like, the guy he was teaching the slap game to didn't recognize it because it's from the show. I'm like, bro, have you not seen the show and you're on this thing?
Yeah, like, you volunteered to come on this thing. You didn't watch the damn show? Yeah, that's crazy.
But they do the second competition, and we all know the second competition is, like, the cookie one, right? So they're like, form a line. Everyone's like, I know how this goes. And you got 4 lines. Everyone gets in line. But the little twist on this is they take the first person in front of the line, and they put them in a room and say, hey, you got 2 minutes to figure out what shape you're going to do.
I wish this had just kept playing out.
Now, immediately, as soon as they did that, and these idiots are bickering, I'm like, I said, I guarantee you they're all going to get freaking killed or eliminated if they don't pick, Fair enough, man, but I gotta give that dude credit, man. That dude was like, I'm not taking freaking umbrella, and he stuck to his guns, and he didn't take it, man, and boom, they're all toast.
Yeah.
Dunkona, yeah. Like, no one wants the umbrella in this, clearly, right? And, like, there's the circle, triangle, star, and umbrella. And
you're not just going for yourself. You got the whole line behind you.
And you got people watching you, like, what you're getting ready to do. I thought the triangle would be the easiest because it's straight lines, but everyone's saying the circle's the easiest. So, I mean, clearly the star is harder in both of them, and then the umbrella is by far the worst. Because the umbrella, like, the handle part is pretty narrow and probably very brittle and easy to break. So, but anyways, this guy, they're like, hey, man, they go like girl, boy, or whatever, and then they don't line up like that. So this kid's like, that ain't what we agreed to. I'm not taking this umbrella. And he kind of like steps back and time's out. And now you're like, what's going to happen here? Pop. And they're like, hey, you guys didn't follow the rules or whatever, so all of them gone.
Yeah, and I mean...
they all get
did they not see that coming? I mean, I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, so did I.
Now, Billy, you think they took a risk and said, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'd rather take the risk than choose the umbrella?
Yeah, I think they just weren't thinking straight, man. I think one of them, off the bat, should have been like, you know what? We're probably all going to get eliminated right here if somebody doesn't freaking take the damn umbrella.
Well, what's funny is this... So then they take the first people in the second line and do the same thing.
But funny thing is...
They all get eliminated, too.
But the thing is, too, the poor people in that fourth line, and all the lines, they're all telling those people, don't take the freaking umbrella.
And I'd be telling the guy up there, I'd be like, bro, don't take the umbrella. Don't let them sell you like that. But, like, you got to obviously work this through. And anything's better than getting eliminated, right? And, like, I think the obvious thing to do, if you're not in line 4, you go, hey, we're just going to we're already in the order you just take the luck that is. That's how the show worked, right?
You picked up line 1, 2, 3, and 4. It lines up with whatever.
Yeah. But if I'm in line 4, I'm like, no, this ain't that. So let's do paper, rock, scissors, or whatever. You know?
Well, remember that asshole in the first group was like, all right, let's race. And everybody's like, yeah, let's race. So they all line up on the wall. And this guy's like, 5, 4, 3, run.
The second time, like some guy just runs. But once they get to their shape, they're like, nah, nope. I ain't doing this. Yep. And then no one wants the umbrella again. So twice in a row, these guys even know what the consequence is, and they don't agree to it.
What's funny is the mom. This shows the mom and son in the same line, right? Awesome. And he's like, "Man, you don't think it'll get all the way back here?" She's like, "I kind of hope it does."
Because they both ended up in the same line, and they're in the back of it, right?
Right. So she's like, "Why not?"
And that's why I'm trying to encourage.
At this point.
I'm trying to encourage the guy in front of me. I don't really care what happens to them, so I'm like, "Don't get the umbrella."
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You keep telling them, "Don't take it." Let them keep eliminating.
Yeah,
themselves.
I don't really care, but
so you get to the poor guy.
Then they go to the third group, and the guy in charge of, I think, the fourth line this time is Spencer, and this guy has issues.
He's a strange dude, man. He's a strange
guy. He was cracking before they even
was crying.
And then they're all coming up to him, and they're like,
and his cat's like,
and then the other guy, and of course, what it was 432, whatever his name is.
Yeah, 432, like, the bully guy's at the front.
Yeah. Well, and then this cat Spencer, man. So they do the little one-on-one with him, and he's like, yeah, I've always been a mama boy. I used to wet the bed. And
why did he say that, though?
I know, right?
That's not things you normally want to reveal in front of the world.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is wrong? Yeah.
He says he's gullible. And
I don't care what you did as a kid. Like, there's many people that wet the bed as a kid. Right. Not everyone needs to know that.
Yeah, right.
He's obviously a very honest person.
Oh, he's like, I'm super gullible. If anybody tells me something, I just believe him.
And he's like dry heaving too, because he's nervous and stuff like that. And then he says something weird.
Mm-hmm.
You spit on it.
He's like, not to be sexual, but spit on someone's cookie or something like that.
He's like, I'll take umbrella if all you guys promise to spit on other people's cookies to help them. And the dude's like, yeah. Then one bro's like, yeah, I got your cookie, bro. I'll spit on your cookie for you.
The guy shakes his hand. He's like, look, I'll help you out. And then they all agree. He takes the umbrella, and then they announce, hey, you can't help anyone out on this.
And not only can you not help anyone out, but each team is going by themselves in one group, right?
It's different than the show because everyone did it together. Where now, like, each individual shape is doing it
separately.
Which is kind of cool. And it goes like 1 through 4 and the easiest shape first, so circle. And people are like doing the circle in like
quick, dude.
4 minutes or something. They're getting it done. Some people. So you're like, damn, this looks too easy. But some people, they do show breaking the cookie.
Oh, yeah.
And now some people are like grabbing the cookie like with their hands and the actual shape, putting pressure on the shape. Like,
don't put pressure on the shape.
To me, you want to put pressure on the outside. One person even like picks the cookie up from the outside and lifts it, and then they're putting pressure on the middle of the cookie unintentionally and cracks it. So
if you're gonna pull up a cookie out of a tin, you put your hand over the tin and you just dump it like that and just take it out full, man.
Yeah, That's stressful. And you see them. What's funny is the beginning part, right? Because they all take the cookie and they're like licking. Oh, yeah, they're all just like, oh.
Well, then you hear somebody say, "Hey, spit in the tin." It's like, oh yeah. So then people are spitting in the tin, putting the cookie in there.
There's one. I think it was Spencer.
Looking at it like,
Spencer's had like
Spencer's was like in a pool.
Oh yeah, it's
fluid
or something. Man. I was like, ugh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, but
and he still broke his damn cookie.
Yeah.
Poor Spencer.
But and it's funny too because some people are working on the cookie, and some people are like, "Oh my god!" And then they'll look, and they're like, "Psh."
Yep.
So I mean, there's some funny scenes in there. But,
But it turns out the way you think it would, right? I mean, barely anybody gets knocked out of freaking circle. A couple people get knocked out of triangle. A little more out of star, and then of course like half. And then of course like 3/4 of the umbrella people get knocked out. Maybe more than that, right? There's a ton of them. So
yeah, and like the 2 people who voted 200 out didn't make it through this. So karma, I guess. Yeah. Karma's a bitch.
Oh yeah.
And then
and she's done interviews where she said she went into that knowing she wasn't going to get out of that.
Spencer also doesn't make it. He comes close.
Mm-hmm.
But 432 pulls through.
He does. Well, he didn't have to deal with the umbrella. You know what I'm saying? Could 432 deal with the umbrella?
And there's a guy, 107 was the first person to make it through like red light, green light, and he had the umbrella and he gets through that as well. So this guy's crushing it so far.
Yeah.
Well, and you know 432, right? He said why 432 is the best number because it leads down to 1, and he's number 1.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's 432, and then I'm number 1.
Yep.
So 119 people make it through this.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, people dropping like flies in the show already.
And it's following the TV show up to this point pretty closely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So of course they think so. They all go back to the dorms like, all right, we know tug of war is next. Tug of war is next. They're all saying that in the dorm.
Mm-hmm. And here's why I don't think they ever do tug of war. I think it's too much of a liability in like the real world scenario. Like too many of them could get hurt.
Nah, because you know damn well they're signing so many freaking waivers and shit to get on this show.
I think they could do it. Yeah. I mean, they did it on Mr. Beast. You know, he did something similar, but his was kind of weak. But
you don't have the variety of people that you have.
So this time in the dorms, they put a phone in the middle of the room, and it rings. And one guy, like, he gets into it with 432, so he wants to eliminate 432. So he's sprinting to get the phone, and then he gets it, and they deliver like 2 burgers and some fries.
Good burgers too, man.
Yeah.
Man,
well, as soon as they give him his burger, people just like
stealing his shit.
Take it.
Like I don't know if he even ended up with anything.
That Jada,
I think he did end up with like a burger.
That Jada chick just walked up and snatched one of his burgers and walked off.
Yeah. Wow. And they're all just going after the fries. Like
people just looting, man. People
you see one person steal a fry like gently and quickly, and then they're all like.
I see one person trying to like dip it in the ketchup. He took it through. He's holding the plate.
And the thing is, he just sits there and lets him take it. I'd be like, hell no.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, he does say this is my prize or whatever.
But it's because he was more concerned about that phone than he was really the food, you know.
So then when the phone rings again, he runs out. I'm like,
now some people are like, look, they did that. They gave you the food to try and entice you to answer it again. So don't do it. The second time is no good.
That's the carrot. The stick's coming next.
And he was like, no, I'm answering that phone.
Oh, yeah.
He hesitated for like a second, but he wants 432 out so bad, like it's getting to his head.
And 432 standing over there, go ahead and answer that phone.
Yeah,
answer
it.
So he answers it, and they're like, hey, you are eliminated unless in 2 minutes you can get someone to replace you on this phone.
See, and his dumb ass, he had that look on his face. He had that look on his face like, oh shit, and people were seeing it and like, oh, I don't know about that. He should have been like, oh, okay, cool, yeah.
Like,
now I hope
cupcake.
Yeah, chocolate
some people were like really close to him, so I hope they couldn't hear the conversation because that would really be messed up. Like, but I don't even like the way he sold this. He's like, hey, they're giving you like a chocolate muffin or
muffin,
cookie, whatever the hell it was. It was something chocolate. I don't remember. And I'm like, well, damn, that's not worth the risk, man.
Chocolate muffin.
But he should have said, "Hey, they're going to give up to 5 people $200,000 to walk away from the show right now. 5 people. Grand. Does anyone want a part of this?" And then he could have passed the phone off and said, "Hey, I gave you a solid. You could pass it off to someone else that I set it up for you."
Yeah.
But because someone might go $200,000, geez, I'm probably not going to win this thing, so I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and some people, like maybe if Spencer was there, are gullible, you know, and maybe would have fell for it, but.
No, you went chocolate muffin.
Yeah, exactly.
And one guy was close to picking it up, but everyone's like, what are you doing?
Like 432 was like, bro, don't touch that damn phone, man. Like, oh.
That was hilarious. I'm like, who is enticed by this chocolate muffin? Like, they just came out and brought 2 burgers and a platter of fries.
I know I got some chocolate lovers out there.
And then they kept pointing out, like, he is, because then he was like, nobody wants the muffin, nobody wants the muffin. Like, there's a chocolate muffin. You go take the phone. Go see. And they're like, do you not see how desperate he is to get you guys to go to the phone? Like, nah.
And 198 can't get anyone to take the phone.
No.
So he is gone.
Peace.
And then another competition. There's 8 lines this time. And we know from the show, typically next is tug of war.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And
like,
they've
a
already
lot
figured
of
this,
strong
too.
people are getting into one line. And matter of fact, I think you can only have like 15 people or something like that in a line.
Yeah, so
and more people
432.
are in one line than others.
Yeah,
so
so
they
they're
want a
gonna
part
kick
of that
people out of
string.
line.
Yeah, so 432 is, like, definitely engineering his strength
yes,
line
absolutely.
here.
But guess what? It's not tug of war.
No, it ain't. That was cool, dude. When they walked into that room, because they drew the balls, they're like, all right, team 3 against team 1. Of course, team 1 was 432's team, so of course team 3 was like, shit, and then they get in that room and it's some freaking, what do they call it, warships instead of
It's
battleship.
pretty much Battleship,
Yeah, it's
but
Battleship. Yeah.
probably can't say that.
Yeah.
But
They ain't paying Milton Bradley no freaking rights for that, man.
Now, did they know, like, so it looked like one side had a boat of 5, 2 3s, and a 2, and the other team had a boat of 4, 2 2, or 1 3 and 2 2s.
it wasn't the same
Yes,
ship,
they
really?
were not.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
there was one that had 5 and one that had 4.
which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
But
Did
the
they know that the
end
other
number,
ships
I
were-
think, is the same. But each ship
Right.
was kind of different.
Yeah. So, like, if you had the side that had the 5, it's like, well, now they've got to hit 5 hits to sink that
To
ship.
get one ship, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with 432. He gets in a boat of just 2 people, and it is high risk, high reward. You're hoping you just don't get found. But if you are found, then it's not good.
Well, first, each team had to pick a captain, right? So they're trying to pick
Captain
the captain.
and lieutenant.
Yeah, and then the captain picked their lieutenant, right? So, of course, 432 was against the captain from the beginning. He's like, no.
Yeah, well, that's no surprise.
Yeah, of
This
course,
guy.
he has to be in control,
Yeah.
But the funny thing was, he was like, all right, well, fine. I'm going to pick this 2-man boat so him and another dude get in it. And they're sitting in one spot, and the captain's like, no, you guys need to move over here. So the captain made them move, even though they had the spot they wanted to be in, right? So,
I would probably let the people pick their own spot,
Yeah.
But, I mean, the captain's at risk here, too, though, and the lieutenant.
Well, they don't tell them that till after they're selected.
And the weird thing about this is it's not really, it is team versus team, but you could potentially be on a losing team and still survive.
Yeah.
And then be on the winning team and still be out.
Yeah.
So it's like if your ship, the whole ship went down, you're eliminated.
period.
Right.
Yeah, whether you're on the winning team,
And-
which I thought was
And
weird.
then the game is still being played out, and you're like, you're just sitting there.
Sitting there.
You're like, I have no stake in this game whatsoever now. And
Yeah,
like,
and unlike Battleship, you don't have to sink all the ships, you just have to sink 2.
yeah.
Yep, the
So
first team
that
to sink 2
changes the
wins.
game drastically as well.
Oh,
Yeah, especially if you've got one team that has 2 2s and one versus one team that has 3 and 3.
Now they got this guy on another team, TJ, who is supposedly a pro basketball player,
Retired pro
and he is very confident. He's like, "No one's going home on this team. I
promise
got
guys,
you."
I love y'all. I love you guys. We're all staying.
and he just keeps like
Positive
saying
energy,
this.
man. Get the positive vibes, man.
They're getting a little annoyed by it, though.
And then, of course, he's got that.
Lorenzo's annoyed.
He's
by
got
it.
he's got that clown Lorenzo who stole the food and shit. And he's like, I don't like the TJ. With his positive vibes.
You can't get into me, which is true. Like, but
Yeah, you really can't.
this guy delivers though.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Not a
did, man.
single person from his team gets
Yeah,
eliminated,
yeah, he did. He
so
ate gold,
he
man.
carries it through. Then they have another team that comes up and they're like, this chick named B. She's a gamer and I guess
she's a professional
probably a
gamer.
streamer or
She's-
something
yeah.
like that.
She's was a Mensa, like
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
she's
yeah.
a
She's
genius.
13.
so she's like,
Yeah,
I'm
13,
kind of
yeah.
like amazing at things.
Yeah, it's just like I just
Kind of smart.
know the world.
Yeah.
And she's like C3. People always choose C3, so we don't want anything there. And
Yeah.
she has this kind of strategy. Like, you can have whatever strategy you want, but this is a lot of luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. At the end of the day, this game, Battleship is a lot of luck, period. Exactly. Yeah. And the funny thing is, she's like, people in general always choose C3 first. And, of course, they're talking, this is in the freaking one on Rome rooms. This is probably after the fact, and then the
Yeah.
girl that she was playing is chose
Yeah.
C3. When you watch all the other games, not a single person chose C3 first, right? So it's like, get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, I do think C3 is a common area because,
Yeah.
generally, I think people are trying to split it up into 4 quadrants and probably starting in one quadrant, going to another, So, I mean, there's probably some statistics you could apply here.
Well,
but you don't know if people are going to use
She's
that.
officially ruined C3 for Battleship. For anyone who plays that game in the future.
Well, and the crazy thing is, there are plenty of people that never played it before. Like, I've never played this game. Like, you never played Battleship? I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But then, like, her thing, too, they made it look like she completely wrecked this other team without missing a shot, which is all,
Yeah.
you know, but she
They
didn't,
only
right?
showed her hits, but you could clearly see on the board there
She
was
had plenty
like
of
5 misses or so.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, she gets it done too.
Yeah. But 432 doesn't survive this one.
Oh, no, he didn't.
432's
awesome.
numbers up.
Yep.
Yeah, to go out on like no fault of his own.
Exactly. Yeah. When you're put in a position like that, where like it doesn't matter how strong you are, how smart you are, how talented you are, you're just sitting in a boat, man. your number gets picked. You're toast.
I wanted to be sitting in the boat over
And he
there.
didn't choose where he wanted to go either.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. You know, like had he stuck in his original spot, you know, and she not moved him, they'd have been gold. You know,
Maybe.
potentially. Yeah.
He was like, what was hilarious though is like the first thing she called. She didn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She missed
Oh.
the first.
He kept-
Nobody knows what
You're
you're
just
doing.
picking
the first
numbers,
call.
man.
he kept crap talking her like the whole time,
Yeah.
man. It's like, dude, just shut up and let
We
her.
have the
you know?
worst captain.
Yeah, our captain sucks.
I do love how like they put the thing in almost like they're loading a cannon or something
Yeah,
to a
that
certain
was
extent.
cool.
And then of course like, you know, the show's edited really well. So like when it comes down to the wire, they don't show the person putting it in because that would spoil like you would know. They just show where it would hit
Yeah.
on the board. So
I did like the Doc when it came on Doc's turn too, though, because
Oh,
he
dude,
was
that
he
was
was the
great.
last person in his boat, and
they were going
it
up
was
against
their
the team.
turn. They needed one hit, and they knew they had a boat.
Yep.
They had to either go one up or one down, and it was going to be a hit or a miss.
five or eight.
it was like F5 or F8 or something
Yeah.
like that. And they were
And
arguing which one.
Everybody said 5, and Doc's like 8.
He's like, I got 18 grandkids, man. It's
That's
8.
8. It's 8.
So the captain went with Doc. Said, all right, everybody else says 5. Doc's saying 8. Screw it, let's go with 8. And he
I
won.
kind of got the sense
That
he was
was
going to go with him,
So
but
did I.
I
was
don't
thinking
really
the
know
same
why when everyone else is saying the other
Right.
one.
And
Even
he
he's
kept
like,
saying,
I'm
my
thinking
gut-
5. So
My gut is 5. But he went with Doc. Well, I mean, I can kind of see it a little bit because it was Doc's life on the line. Because they knew if they didn't get that hit, the other team had already figured out where
Yeah.
their ship was.
And they
If
needed one more hit as
They
well.
only needed one more hit, and Doc would have been out. So it was Doc's life on the line at that point, for sure.
That's true, yeah.
So 107 also gets eliminated during this game. The guy who did the umbrella and the first person in red light, green light. So some big dogs
Sitting
taken
ducks.
down in this.
Yeah.
Sitting ducks.
And that's what's kind of interesting about the show is just like there's a lot of luck involved. So
Oh, yeah.
you don't know if your number's getting called or
Yeah.
not really. So
So 432 wasn't the one.
That's right.
no.
Yeah.
And
Now
now,
you can go back to school.
now they're down to 73 players.
It's a lot. And,
and
mom and son are still there.
Yeah, and at this point, he's only missed like 3 days of school, so he didn't get back.
So they
Probably
bring
get late
in
registration.
That's right.
He's
That's
they
right,
bring
he's
in
good.
like a number pad, and people are like, "What the heck's going on here?" But they're like, "Hey,
This
3
was
players
good.
with the most votes are going to be eliminated."
You know, and everybody has the vote in the open.
And this is where one clown,
This idiot.
I think it was what 374 says.
Doctor. The doctor. Doctor.
No.
Who?
No, this is 374. He says, "I don't know if I want to be here anymore," or something to that effect.
Oh.
He said that was his strategy, is making it seem like he just didn't want to be there. So people
You
were like,
never
oh, we don't want to
tell
him.
people that you don't want to be on the show
Exactly.
because people at this point are just looking for a reason to get rid of someone, and you
Yeah.
just gave it to them.
Exactly.
Well, and then people were talking about the mom and son, like, ooh, well, they got kind of a double chance to win the money. That's the thing, too. I was like, when this show started, I'm like, why the hell did they tell people they were
That
mother
they
and
were
son?
mother and son,
I was like, hell no. I'd have went in that show like, hey, we don't know each other. We'll just meet up. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. Like, no way in hell you
No,
come on
they
the
were
show.
very open
Because
about
immediately people are going to be like, oh, well, they got a double chance of winning
Some
this damn
people
money.
have mentioned it, but it
Yeah.
hasn't really cost them yet.
Yeah, it hadn't cost them yet.
No.
Yeah.
And then some doctors always like, hey guys, let's not just vote. Let's have an equitable way to determine these 3 people. And people are like, no.
Yeah.
And as they're arguing, he's counter arguing with them,
yeah.
and I'm like, you were
You just
being
put a
too
target
loud.
on your back, buddy.
Yeah.
Sure enough.
So as soon as that over, people are like, I'm thinking about voting 030 out.
But then,
the
while
doctor.
but then also while this is going on, you know, the mom and a couple other women all had to go cut apples for, you know, so they're in
Yeah.
the kitchen cutting apples, and they bring apples out, and they're trying to hand apples to everybody, and Lorenzo's being a jerk off, and he's like, oh, I do not want your apples. No, get that shit away from me, you know, kind of
Yeah.
crap. You know, and of course, the mom's like, well, that's rude. That gives me rude
He could have
stuff,
just
you know?
not gone up
Yeah,
there.
he
could-
just have said, hey, no, thank you, I'm not hungry, something.
and
you
I'm
know?
sure that's not the first instance she's experienced
Oh,
with
yeah,
him
probably
being
not.
rude, and because that's how he is. He's not. I mean, it's a little bit of he's rude, but it's
He's
also a
super
little
rude.
bit of a culture thing, right? He's just very blunt and to the point, and he's like, I don't want your apples, or whatever.
But
Yeah, so they get in line and they have to like enter the number on the pad. And like what's interesting about this is like as soon as you enter a number, they pop up on the screen and you know kind of who they choose.
If they're new, that's what's funny. Like so if you're in the back of the line, you could vote for somebody up there and nobody knows who you're really voting.
Exactly.
And you're at a super, super disadvantage if your number comes up early. It's because like the first 3 people probably going to be the ones eliminated because everyone else is pretty hesitant to enter a 4th number.
Now, and the first guy kind of goes along with what everybody was saying. Cause they were all kind of talking to each other like, well, we'll definitely put the guy up there who keeps saying he wants to go home. So the first guy puts him up there, right? Which everybody expected to happen.
Hard to argue that, bro. You said you weren't going to make it.
The doctor was the other name that was mentioned that everybody figured was going to pop up there.
And he's a little bitter. He's kind of surprised by it.
And then like 179 also, the female who's kind of taking over that other group, right? But you had Lorenzo. Nobody's talking about Lorenzo, but because he pissed off Mom, and guess what? Mom's number 2 to go up to the board. So who number does she pop in? Lorenzo. And guess what? If your face is already up there, then
it's easy to
even if people weren't thinking you, at that point, it's like, hey, he's already up there. Doot, 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 doot.
Yeah.
So, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the people who they entered their number, they entered the person who entered them. But it's kind of too late at that point. If you're in the middle of the line and you just pop a new person in there,
if your
half
number,
the people didn't even have a chance to vote on them.
Exactly. If your number came up and you were in the back of the line, you can't retaliate early enough to make a difference there.
I almost wish they would have done 2 votes, like one round, and then people could talk it out and be like, oh, man, I think 179 or whoever has a lot of votes. Is that the person we want gone? And let's strategize here. But it's just one opportunity. So, like, if your number came up in the middle, you probably had a good chance. If your number came up early, it's probably not going to be good for you.
Well, and the reason 179 went up there is because she's the one that put the doc's name in first, right? So then he was like, oh, well, screw it, I'm going to pick her. But her whole group, it said, hey, we're going to go with Doc. And she just happened to be the first person in her group, so she stuck with her word and put Doc in, and her whole group was like, hey,
except Dash is like, I'm voting 179. Mr. 141's like, I'm going to vote 179 because I don't like her, and she's starting to form this alliance group or whatever.
He's the redheaded guy, right? But
very eccentric.
What's funny about that is like, you heard other alliances and other people talk about putting up Doc as well. Like, it wasn't just this group of 4 that 179 was a part of. But because she's the one that put the number in, she became like the poster.
Doc, exactly. Of course, Doc,
you're against the Doc.
Yeah,
so.
and Doc was relatively close to the front. So of course, he's throwing her name up there as soon as he gets up there, right? So.
Yeah.
So 374, the guy said he wanted to go home. Great strategy. Gets his wish. 330 gets eliminated, the doc, and then 161.
Lorenzo. And I was so glad to see that dude go. I couldn't stand that guy, man.
And this is what's odd, too, is like after this, Dash goes up to 179, the person he voted for, and lies about it to her face.
Yep. She's like, I'm pretty sure I saw you put 179. And he's like, no.
I put 330. I voted Doc, just like you said, or whatever he said,
But then later on, he tells another group, like, hey, I don't like 179. I voted for her. Like, and I don't know why he did this, because he goes up to like a group, and I'm like, how can you trust these? These are strangers to you. How do you trust them not to get back?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, hey, I'm voting for 179. We need to get rid of her ass, and they're like, yeah, okay, bro.
And what's funny is that she does tell him. She does say, you should be careful who you say this stuff.
Yeah, like it's almost like she's hinting to him.
Yeah, she says it like. Yeah.
Like, are you stupid or something? It's kind of like what she really meant to say.
I have to go because I've got to go tell her what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. But you watch who you were talking to.
You should probably be careful in the future because, like, this is cat's out of the bag now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was really strange.
And he's like, oh, I know. Like, yeah, I know I should be careful. Yeah.
And no, you don't, because you were just stupid.
And you've never seen him hang out. It's not like that was an alliance for him, because, like, that'd be different.
Yeah, you know? if these two were tight, like, since day one, it'd be different.
This is just, like, two random people. Like, I've never seen him talk to these people before, so I'm like, she's got a point here.
As soon as he's doing, I was like, what is this clown doing?
Yeah, oh, yeah, no doubt. But I kind of wanted to see him go as well anyway, so I was kind of happy anyway. I was like, whatever, man, get rid of that dude. That dude's
well, I didn't really like him lying to his face, and he was so adamant about it. I mean, he's just like full of himself, so.
Yep.
But this is where 232, Rick gets called out of the blue, like, hey, bring someone with you.
So he picks his best friend there.
And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, so he chooses Steven.
All I know is when you choose one person, you don't choose your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
He chooses Steven, 243, and they, like, go to the back room, and there's 2 envelopes back there, and, like, Rick knows exactly what
He's like, this is a slap game. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, this is kind of, like, weird, too, because I don't even know what it was leading up to.
Right. A candy bar.
One thing is
and they're just practicing playing this game.
Yeah.
And then Rick is like explaining it to Steven, and like Rick's like, bam,
Boom,
this is how you
dude.
do it, boom. And
That
Steven
dude's
tries
gold.
it, he can't get it. And then like they just suddenly announce like, Steven, you've lost this game. And he's like, what the
I
heck?
thought we were practicing.
And then he's like hugging down. He's like, it's okay. I know.
Yeah, 'cause at this point, I think
He's like,
Steven's
I'm
gone.
out.
Yeah.
I'm obviously lying. He's like, is my dye pack on? Like, what's happening? Like,
But they just give him like Rick a
Candy
chocolate
bar.
bar.
They walk in and give Rick this wrapped envelope with this thing, and Steven's like, what is it? And Rick's like, oh, it's a chocolate bar.
but the way he says it, it's a candy bar.
Oh, dude, yeah, and he's like whispering to. He's like he's really gonna get killed, you know? Like Rick's playing his game, like so.
Loved
like,
it.
yeah.
He's like,
Like, oh my god.
we don't question these good
Yeah,
things that
that's
happen
right.
to us.
What the heck is that?
It's a candy bar.
It's a what?
Candy bar.
Yeah.
So they have another elimination. They need 5 volunteers. You volunteer for something like this, Billy?
Nope.
In this situation?
No, but hey, everybody's like, I ain't volunteering, you know?
No,
Like,
but there's
hell
some
no.
people like, some people is like, yeah, I think I'll volunteer, and their buddies are like, no,
No, you
don't
don't.
go.
Yeah,
And they're
you
like,
don't.
no, I think I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna do it. No, don't do it. Nah, I'm gonna do it. I'm
And
gonna
then,
go.
and then Anastasia, Alicia, right? Alicia was her name? Felicia. Or Alicia. What was her name?
I don't think
her
you
name.
know this person's name.
Anyway, like she impressed me the hell. She volunteers, she gets up there, and then the way this plays out, I was like, damn, that was
So what's funny is
gold.
they have to go line up what they put 6. They put 6 Jack in the Boxes up there, and they have to go line up behind them. So there's 5 of them lining up behind 6.
6, yeah, so you got one empty
So
one.
they pick their spot, and I'm sitting here like I'm playing the game right. I'm like, okay, which one am I lining up behind?
You either get
I picked
eliminated,
the last one.
you get an advantage, or the power to eliminate someone. That's
Yeah.
the 3
That's three, yeah.
possibilities here.
And then they're up there crying.
One person
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
She is
same
crying,
girl's crying.
and
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
But
why
you just
did
volunteered
you
to get up there.
volunteered to
Yeah, so
do
why the heck
this?
I don't know why you'd volunteer and then be super
Yeah.
stressed out where you're like
Yeah.
emotionally
Well, and-
coming
and-
undone.
And then the thing is, the order that, it's not like, so you had them all lined up, but they didn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The announcer's like, all right, so-and-so, do your box now.
Yeah, they went.
So
They
you-
jumped around in the
Uh-huh.
order, and I knew when they got to her at the end, I was like,
She got something
I
good.
suggested to myself.
I thought she had
I
something
said,
good.
You suggested to yourself?
I suggested to myself. I said she wouldn't get 3 people to eliminate, would they?
What was kind of odd about this is like some people are like doing the Jack in Box really. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. What's in the
Just
box is
spin
what's in the
it.
box.
Yeah. And how fast he's spinning ain't changing what's in that
It
damn
ain't
box.
changing what's coming
It's
up
happening,
here.
But the
man.
first guy gets what does he get? Eliminate one person,
pick
right?
2 people to eliminate.
2 people, yeah.
Okay.
And this guy's like, I know exactly who I'm getting rid of. I got
dude.
one person who's never talked to me.
Yep. And boom,
Which I'm
you're
like,
gone.
damn. Like,
So
how do you know that?
026, bye.
Yep. Oh yeah. And like he's like, I've never talked to this person before. And how do you argue with that, right?
Yeah.
If you're the rest of people, like, oh, he's never talked to them, you don't know them. Okay, sure, get it.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
sure
know,
there's
man.
other
That's
people
just
he
like
didn't talk
someone
to. Like,
trying to
that's
blend
weird.
in, probably thinking they're safe. Like, how does this person even know my number? But this person's like,
Man,
this
you knew it.
person never came and said anything to me.
And you
Never
just
said
go
hi to me.
around and say hi to everybody.
Did he say hi to her?
Never doing that. Yeah.
So I don't know. He just chooses this person who he never spoke to. He's like, bye, gone.
She was a little bothered by that. You can see her face. She's like,
I'd be
she's been
bothered
walked
too.
out the back. She's like,
Yep.
And then he's like, and this person I'm choosing for spreading lies. 141 dash bye. Which is not a surprise.
no,
not
but I
surprised at
did
all.
like the way he went
Because this
out.
guy's in 179's kind of like group,
Yeah,
right?
he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
Dash exposed the group as he was leaving,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
He's like, there's a 4-person alliance. It's him, them. I ain't spread no lies. That's what happened.
And then the next guy, he just gets eliminated.
Eliminated. Yeah, it sucked, man. I was like,
Yeah,
damn.
375. Aye.
Yep. And the third dude gets
Yeah,
himself
third
a
dude?
freaking what's it called?
Advantage.
An advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
And he's
third guy
like,
then gets to
"Woohoo!"
pick one person to eliminate, right?
Was that the third? No, I think that was the 4th guy. No?
Yeah, he gets to eliminate one person. He chooses 176. And then the next guy gets the advantage.
That's right. Yep.
130.
And now you don't find out what the advantage is. All they tell him is like, you will have an advantage in the next game. Yep.
And this guy's like, that's the best reward
Works
you
for
can
me.
get out of this
Because
thing.
now I don't got to make any enemies by kicking people out. I'm
So
good.
he's like, I'm
So he goes back and joins the crowd.
Thinks
Yeah.
he's safe. You know?
And then the next person, again, they went out of order, as you said, and this person gets to eliminate
And this,
3
is
people.
where, and this is where she freaking impressed the hell out of me. I
This
was
is
like,
229.
I was like, it was great. I was like, she did
Okay,
it.
so you say that. In my mind, my first place would have been going for the 4-person alliance. Like,
But she's
get
kind,
in.
she's kind of friendly with the. Well, I think with some of those people in the
I think
4-person
so.
alliance.
she
so
kind of
she
is,
she's
but
friendly
I'm
with
just
some of
like,
them.
you just expose them. You get rid of all of them. You
Well, I was really
3 of the
surprised.
4,
Her
you know
first
what I mean?
person's 130, the dude who just won the advantage.
She's like, this person has an advantage, and, of course,
I
and the
hadn't
look on
even
his
thought-
face, he's like, oh no, she doesn't mean me.
Yeah, because she
thinking
does
me.
say that, and there's like, a time where she doesn't identify, and he's like, you can't be talking about me, but that's weird.
I think he was probably wondering, like, is that really?
Yeah.
Am I not? I should be exempt.
Yeah,
from
he's
this,
probably like,
right?
I got the golden power of veto or whatever kind of
Yeah,
crap.
I'm good, I'm good.
Is the advantage that I can't be eliminated by a random person?
And, she drops him, and I was like, dude, that's brutal, but that was smart.
I
That
mean,
was
this
smart.
dude just went through the same stress as you, and you're choosing him.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
smart, man. That was smart. I was like, I got to give her credit for that. One of the thing is though, you're saying that she should have went to the exposed alliance. What she did was she kind of exposed another alliance, right? She's like, no, I'm going after 2 people who are from another alliance that I know that is a pretty strong alliance.
Well, I
So-
should have known that because they show in that same episode, they show her
She
with
talked
her
to that
friend
girl
talking
about
about it, like how, look at them, and what's his name? Not Doc, but his buddy,
Steven.
like Steven. He's the captain. Like you can see, he's the one that runs that. And so she says his number, and I was like,
So she eliminates Steven.
Yeah, which I saw coming, but then she hit Doc too, and I was like, damn, I kind of didn't see that
Yeah.
coming.
He's like,
And
and then
like,
take your little old buddy Rick with
Yeah.
you.
but Doc did kind of seem like the glue of that group, right? Everybody kind of rallied around Doc.
Yeah,
was
he
all
gave
great,
this group
so-
a name and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Talking about maybe getting tattoos or
So
something.
I was like, that was smart. I was like, as brutal as it was smart for her to do that. So
yeah.
So this is kind of crazy. And then they need a couple more volunteers to squeeze some oranges.
yeah.
So they get a couple people to do that, and they end up winning this little challenge. And they're like, "Hey, because they won, we're gonna give you guys a picnic. So pair up."
And everybody's like,
and then
Don't pair up with your buddy.
And at this point, if you watch Squid Game, you know that they do the marbles where you pair up with someone. So I'm just like, as soon as they
Never
say
pair
pair up
up
in a
with your-
picnic, I'm like,
No.
are these
Yep.
people dumb?
Stupid, yep.
Have they
Oh,
not
yeah.
seen the show? Because this is at the exact same point in the show that
Exactly.
this happens. And granted, they're not in the game room; they're in the dorms. But I'm like, you think
Yep.
they're gonna do the
Do it
exact
the
same
way,
thing on the
exactly.
show?
But so they all pair up with their buddies, or the homeboy pairs up with
Except
his
one
mom.
person, the Hulk Hogan lookalike skinny dude, was like,
at this point, there's 63 people left, so he's the odd man out, right? So he's like, okay, I'll just get my own.
and I'm wondering if he knew what happened. No one ever calls out like, "Hey, I think they're pairing us up because it's marbles next."
Yeah.
Like-
Nobody says this. This is
Which
what I
is
have a
really
hard time
weird to
believing.
me.
Oh yeah.
And I can't believe the mom and son because they've been so in
dude,
tune to
no
this game.
doubt. Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Like,
no,
had
you're not
Rick-
eating together. You can eat meals together at home. Like, you don't need to eat on a...
What?
Like, you're all
Yeah.
eating in the same room. You're just going to share a blanket? I'll eat with some stranger.
I
Thank
think
you.
had Rick been there, he might have figured it out. He might have been like, oh, hell no, dude. He's like, Steven, you
Yeah.
freaking nope. Let's pick some other people.
So they get to like the bottom of their picnic basket, and there's a bag of
marbles.
marbles. And they're all like,
Yeah.
"Oh no!"
Oh, yeah.
But
Some
they
people
show-
figure it out earlier than others, and they're like, "Oh my
the mom and son,
They
because son's
show
like,
them
I'm digging.
first.
Yeah.
They show them first.
Oh, yeah.
And then they look at each other and their eyes start to water. And they're
Yeah.
like...
And some people are like, "Yeah, we got this and that in here."
And somebody finally says, hey, there's marbles, and everybody's like, huh? And they're all digging. But then the Hulk Hogan dude didn't have nothing in his
"Yeah,
basket.
I got no marbles.
So I guess
There are no marbles in here, brother.
there are no marbles in this one, brother. So I'm guessing there he's exempt. Maybe
Yeah.
he didn't have to play. You know.
Which I'm kind of surprised because like you just eliminate some people. Why wouldn't you make it even numbers and then
Yeah.
do it? But what they're like, nah, we're gonna give someone a pass. This is the advantage.
Well, I mean, that is... Like,
maybe that's what that
you
one guy
were
would have got his
talking-
advantage.
Maybe he would have been the odd man out with the freaking.
but
basket,
he
yeah.
screwed it up, so they're like,
That's
we're gonna
true.
give it to
Somebody-
this
whoever-
person.
Give whoever
And
doesn't pair up.
they did talk to, like, you were saying that you would want to be the single guy out, but, like, it could be a 50-50 thing. You'd be like, if you didn't get a buddy,
You're eliminated.
I don't think they do that.
I think they would do
I would
that.
have put my bet in that. I would have staked that.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, it
think they'd be
worked
like,
out.
you're gone. You can't even pair up with anyone.
It worked out for him, so.
Well, so
As far as we know.
as far as we know.
That's true.
Right, because this is where it
Yeah.
cuts out, so we don't know what happens. But as far as we know, he's safe right now, right? So
Yeah. And he got,
He
no,
got
marbles.
no marbles, so he
Yeah.
ain't playing marbles.
That's right. Yeah, I was like, man, yeah, but I was thinking the same thing. As soon as they're like pair up, I was like, what are these idiots doing? I was like, did they not just watch the damn show?
And they all,
I was like,
they
holy-
They're all
all chose their
clueless.
buddies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know if there's ones they didn't show, but it looks like everyone's pairing up with who they
oh,
like
but that
the most.
one guy, oh my god, what he said to that girl, dude, when he's like, hey, do you want to pair up? And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'd rather pair up with you and not be by myself. I was like, what a jerk, man. He just actually said
Yeah.
that to her.
He's like, well, I mean, if it's myself or you,
Yeah, I'll choose
I guess
you.
I'll go with you.
Right. I was like, oh man.
Like, he
She
really
should
knows
have been
how
like,
to,
no thanks.
Yeah,
he
no,
really
you know
knows
what?
how to
Actually,
sweep
never
a
mind.
girl off her feet. You know what I mean? I
So
guess I could go with you.
This is where it ends, and I'm loving the show
Oh,
so
dude.
far.
Oh,
I can't wait to see how it plays out. I'm kind of rooting for the son mom a little bit, but I hope they don't win because I just
Well, they can't win.
One of them.
yeah. Well, I just
At this point in time, one of
just
them's
think it's
going.
odd because obviously they know who the winner is because this is edited after the fact. So it probably would be good for them to show the winner
Yeah.
throughout the show. I'm just worried they've been showing a lot of this mom son combo, so I kind of hope it's not.
No,
I
one
want
of
it.
them.
I hope it is one of
No,
them. I'm rooting
no,
for him.
I'm not.
I mean,
Honestly,
at this point in time,
man-
I'm so upset that one of them I know is gonna go.
Honestly, at this point, I don't care who wins, man. I'm just invested to see what happens next. You know.
You think it's like the show where like the mom just throws it, or she's like, "You're going home."
Right.
Well, they do an interview where she makes the comment something about like some people would
She was very
expect me to
competitive.
just throw it.
Yeah, and she said
just
she said her mother was like a world class basketball, and then she's like, I was the first woman to get a freaking full ride scholarship for basketball and all this. I was like, damn.
I don't know that she's
I
throwing.
think she was like editor for New York Times
Yeah,
or
she's
something
editor
like
New York
that.
Times.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. She seems pretty competitive and here to win, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see like what happens on like the little glass bridge one.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm ready for that, man. Like they totally. I mean, you and I typed this. What they need to do, they don't need to show them what's underneath, whether it's a net, whether it's water. They need to black out that whole bottom area. So these fools have no idea
idea
what's
what
going to
they're
happen.
falling
Yeah,
into.
they have no idea if they fall, what they're going to fall into.
I mean, I think they should fall in the water, and we talked about playing like a loud thump
thump.
sound, so they think like people are hitting the ground or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
Man.
Oh yeah. That'd be
I want
Nightmare.
I want the fear in them when they're
Yeah,
up there
exactly.
walking like
Yeah,
I don't know.
what the hell's below me. Like,
I mean,
oh man.
the fear was in these people just like doing the cookie. You see them
Oh, yeah.
shaking with the cookie. They're like, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
Ah!
Yeah, but that's
this is $4.5 million.
$1 million. Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're already shaking in their boots.
I know. I want them shaking more.
That's right.
They're starting to get a little comfortable.
Yeah,
from it,
Spencer
so.
sitting there dry heaving. Like,
I agree, man.
the whole time.
Yeah, that's distracting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was a weird guy, man.
I feel for him because like
Oh, yeah.
he's probably gonna have issues after this. The way
Oh, no
he's
doubt.
represented on this stupid show.
He's like, everybody's gonna hate me. I know it.
I mean, someone had to get the umbrella, but like you maybe should have did rock paper scissors or something like that.
Exactly.
And,
Some
then,
kind of
Ain't
game.
nobody was going
and
for it.
you were in the 4 lines, so that matched up with the umbrella to begin with. So
He should have. He should have.
he should have just owned it though.
So,
Like
yeah,
I'll
he
do the umbrella, you SOB.
Yeah.
You better hope I don't make it.
That's right. So I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, man. Now, so far, so good, man. It's definitely been one of the better reality shows we've seen in a while. I think,
It's pretty fresh.
And hands down, just the way they have reenacted the whole show, like the freaking, just the setups and everything, just how perfect it is compared to how the show was. Like, man, they did. I don't know if they did the exact same studio or what they did when they did this, but it was awesome, man.
Now I know that we've kind of like parlayed our show here to like more love reality shows, and whereas this isn't a love reality show, there was a little bit of a spark between Figgy
Oh,
yeah,
Figgy.
and
Or at least he
the
thought there
son
was.
of the mom.
Yeah, but then the
I forgot
son
his
mentioned
name.
he's got a girlfriend. He's like, yeah, my mom and my girlfriend have
His
been my two
girlfriend
biggest
was-
backers, and
when he was
all
sick.
that. So, yeah.
But there
Figgy
was-
didn't survive Battleship.
No,
She didn't.
He was super upset with that.
I was like, "Is this our love story?" And then Figgy goes.
Yeah,
So
no
yeah,
story
we
there.
don't really have a love story for you to share
That's
with
right.
you guys, but
Well, there you have it, folks. That is the first 5 episodes of Squid Game: The Challenge. Now, we were loving it right now. We can't wait for the next set. And hey, let us know what you think about it. I mean, if you watched the original Squid Game and maybe you thought there was something a little bit different about this or whatever, let us know because we'd love to talk to you about that because we all liked the original Squid Game. We thought it was a great show. And if you didn't, let us know that too. And hey, until next time, guys, we'll catch you at our next review. And as always, please hit that like and subscribe button. We'll check you later.